Good evening and welcome to TBC News. First, our top stories tonight. Anticipation high as UN Climate Forum launched.
I also call for a predictable, accessible, sustainable, and balanced financing between mitigation and adaptation.
Hails Indonesia's economic reforms, vows to emulate. Good evening once again. I'm Agnes Tuniga. You can also follow us live at our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. The Vice President, Dr. Philip Mpango, says there is a need for predictable, accessible, sustainable, and balanced financing to support the efforts to reduce and respond to the effects of climate change. Dr. Mpango has made the call while representing the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, at the opening of the 35th meeting of the Permanent Financial Committee of the United Nations Convention on Climate Change. Here are more details.
The meeting was held at the Arusha International Conference Center, AICC, whereby the Vice President, Dr. Philip Mpango, makes it clear that developing countries need more financing to deal with the climate change so as to achieve the targeted goal.
I also call for a predictable, accessible, sustainable, and balanced financing between mitigation and adaptation, taking into consideration that developing countries are more in need of adaptation financing so as to ensure gender-responsible climate financing.
The Vice President insists that the meeting should help in ensuring the commitments of developed countries to provide $100 million every year are fulfilled by the year 2025 as part of the commitments of the developed countries to facilitate the implementation of the Paris Agreement.
And I hope that the deliberations of the Forum and Standing Committee on Finance shall help to ensure fulfillment of a pledge by developed countries of $100 billion annually by 2025 as part of their commitment to facilitate the implementation of the Paris Agreement.
The Vice President insists that Tanzania takes the clean energy for cooking as an important national agenda, where the goal is to ensure that by the year 2034, 80% of Tanzanians use clean energy for cooking from the current 7%. He adds that the move is key and will help the country to deal with environmental, health, social, and economic challenges arising from the use of unclean cooking energy, including charcoal and wood. The 5-day meeting is attended by participants from various countries around the world, environmental stakeholders, leaders, and policymakers.
The President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, says Indonesia's economic reforms in various sectors such as oil and gas, agriculture and industry have made the country to become the 10th largest economy in the world, and this should act as a motivation to Tanzania to emulate steps taken by the country, especially the priorities that they have been set in the implementation of economic policies for the welfare of the people and the growth of the nation as a whole. Here are more details.
President Dr. Mwinyi made the remarks at the second Indonesia-Africa Forum 2024, which has been officiated by the President of the Republic of Indonesia, Joko Widodo, held in Bali, Indonesia.
Nimepata nafasi ya kuzungumza na rais wa Indonesia asubuhi ya leo.
Got a chance to speak to the President of Indonesia, and we have had a chance to have an overall discussion about various issues. Tanzania mainland already has various Indonesian companies which are in operation. Some are engaged in gas exploration, and another company which is in Zanzibar processes cloves into finished oil. I'm happy that the President has shown a willingness to pursue more companies to come and invest in Tanzania.
Ameonyesha utayari wa kuhimiza makampuni zaidi aje Tanzania.
During the forum, President Dr. Mwinyi made it clear that Tanzania is ready to cooperate with Indonesia through its program Grand Design for Development Cooperation in Africa, which has recently been formulated by the country with the aim of supporting development efforts. And the Minister of Tourism of Indonesia, Sandiago Uno, has promised that President Mwinyi continues to provide support to the youth of Zanzibar to go to Indonesia to learn and develop skills in the tourism sector. He adds that the program includes special training. Dr. Mwinyi has represented the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan.
Meanwhile, Indonesia has expressed commitment to deepening ties with the African continent to achieve shared growth through the second edition of the Indonesia-Africa Forum. Here are more details with Olin Ndori.
The high-level forum on multiple stakeholder partnerships to be held in Indonesia from the 1st to the 3rd of next month is expected to serve as a solid ground for discussions related to Indonesia-Africa relations, while also providing an opportunity for country-to-country bilateral talks. Zimbabwe is looking at possible engagements for cooperation in education, lithium mining, vaccine development, and defense industry. Discussions on possible cooperations are on course after Indonesia's coordinating Minister for Maritime and Investment Affairs, Luhut Binsar Bajan, visited Zimbabwe in January last year. A high-level Zimbabwean delegation also visited Indonesia in 2022 with the view to exploring cooperation between NatFarm and Biopharma, a pharmaceutical company, for the provision of bulk vaccines and support transfer to support domestic vaccine manufacturing. Export of blueberries from Zimbabwe to Indonesia and palm oil from Indonesia to Zimbabwe is also being discussed. Zimbabwe's delegation will be led by Vice President Comrade Kembo Mohadi on behalf of President Emerson Mnangagwa.
The Confederation of Tanzania Industries, CTI, and Tanzania Trade Development Authority, TanTrade, say the upcoming Tanzania International Manufacturers Expo, Time Expo 2024, which will be held from September 26 to October 2nd, 2024 at the Sabasaba grounds in Dar es Salaam, will aim to boost exports, production, and create more investment opportunities locally and internationally. Speaking in Dar es Salaam, the Executive Director of CTI, Engineer Leutgar Tenga, highlights that the expo will involve over 500 exhibitors, where 250 are Tanzanians and 250 international exhibitors from over 21 countries, and the theme of the expo is building bridges.
This time around, we are looking to over 500, about 250 external, that is international, 250, and locals about 250. We've had confirmation from 21 countries, which is very good, and definitely we also will definitely have our own industries participate.
On the other hand, the Acting Director of Business Development of TanTrade, Tito Nombo, says the expo will be a platform for local industries to connect with the buyers and sellers from various countries.
TanTrade to connect the buyers and sellers so that to make sure that the products will be going in the market. And also we promoted the investments, as you may find that many traders and investors will come here.
The Time Expo 2024 will provide an opportunity for participants to explore the latest industry trends, engage with leading experts, and discover innovative solutions that drive growth and development, covering various sectors, including building and construction materials, extractive manufacturing, agri-processing, textiles, pharmaceuticals, and renewable energy technologies. Commissioner for Administration and Human Resources, CP Susanna Kaganda, says after the opening of the special training for women police and law enforcement officers from around the world will equip the Women Police of Tanzania police force to continue to provide better services to the people. She made assurance earlier today in Chicago, United States, immediately after the opening of the International Association of Women Police Training for Women Police and Law Enforcement Officers, insisting that the Tanzania police force will benefit from the training, resulting to bringing operational changes to the force.
Kama ambavyo leo tumeshuhudia ufunguzi wa mkutano mkubwa wa polisi wanawake duniani.
As we have witnessed today, the opening of the major global conference of the International Association of Women, which includes law enforcement officials. From Tanzania, we have approximately 40 participants from both the police and immigration sectors. The theme of this conference, which has officially opened here in Chicago, is We Serve, We Protect, We Lead. After the opening, we expect to gain valuable training that will enhance the efficiency of our police force as well as immigration services. For us in Tanzania, this is a significant opportunity because we will learn how to bring this knowledge back home to make changes and benefit our colleagues who could not be here.
Na masuala mazima ya usimamizi wa sheria.
Previously, the president of International Association of Women, Deborah Friedel, expressed her hope that next year the federation will involve more countries and departments to participate in the training and create conducive environment for the women police around the world. The government of the Netherlands and the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, are satisfied with the implementation of the environmental conservation campaign and access to safe water in primary schools in Iringa region. The resident representative of the UNICEF in the country, Elke Wish, and the deputy head of Mission Embassy of the Netherlands, Job Runhaar, gave the appraisal during the ceremony of handing over water and toilet facilities to 22 primary schools in Itwaga village in Iringa region. Irene Mokalinga from Iringa region has more details.
Itwaga Primary School is located in Itwaga village in Iringa District Council, which is among the beneficiaries of the project that is sponsored by the Netherlands government. The head teacher of the school, Milton Kipemba, thanks for the support, saying it will help to protect the health of more than 450 pupils.
Students used to experience challenges. For instance, water was available 1 kilometer from here, and it was available in only certain seasons.
The resident representative of UNICEF, Quish, said that the implementation of the national campaign for the environmental sanitation and health will increase the access to clean and safe water for many rural residents in the region.
So the water and sanitation access is important so that everybody has clean drinking water and good sanitation and hygiene. And it also has a huge impact on the situation of chronic malnutrition. And we still have a large number of children with chronic malnutrition or stunting. So very important that the water and sanitation improvements will also contribute to further reducing the stunting in the region.
On his part, the deputy head mission embassy of the Netherlands, Job Runhaar, insists that his country will continue to support Tanzania with financial resources and technologies for the management of water resources.
So besides providing financial assistance, we also try to bring technical knowledge. We have water companies from the Netherlands that work together with water companies in Tanzania.
Speaking at the event, the Iringa District Commissioner, Harry James, thanks UNICEF and the Dutch government for the support asserting the success of the projects that have increased the number of schools with better toilet facilities and the water infrastructure to 54% in the Iringa region.
I repeat to appreciate the good support of the Netherlands and UNICEF for all the projects that have been done in our country, and especially in Iringa. And we want to put the commitment of making sure that all these facilities will be well taken off so as they can last for long and to serve for the purpose.
The project is funded by the Dutch government. Irene Mokalinga, TBC, Iringa.
Financial literacy from an early age has been said to be key in helping the population develop the culture of saving and better money management. The call has been made by the Executive Director of the Hazina Savings and Credit Cooperative Societies, SACCOS, Festo Moipaja, during a special training organized to provide financial education to secondary school students.
When they graduate, now they will be strong enough in terms of the financial literacy, knowing that where can I get a cheap capital for investing in my business? Where can I save for earning more interest?
On the other hand, the beneficiaries of the training say the financial education will equip them with key skills on finance management in their current and future lives.
In allowing us to understand how to keep our budgets, to understand about loans and rates that they are giving us, and also according to that, it will help us to understand how to use our money effectively in the proper way.
It helps me on how to keep money for my future purpose or for my future kids, and about Hazina SACCOS helps on keeping money for your children. And
the training involves 5 schools from Ilala and Kinondoni districts. Before we wind up our local news tonight, let us now take a look at our today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. And here's the international news compiled and read by Lulua Mohammed.
African heads of state have begun arriving in the Chinese capital, Beijing, ahead of 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation FOCAC Summit, which gets underway on Wednesday. This 9th gathering is expected to provide a framework for navigating China's evolving strategic partnership with the continent in the post-COVID era. It's taking place at a time of rising geopolitical tension that will see Beijing prioritize its position in relations to the other world's powers. Climate and energy are expected to be among the key topics for the negotiation between Chinese and African stakeholders. Discussion will also focus on digital and technology cooperation in a bid to close African digital divide. In the past, FOCAC has yielded notable financial commitments for the project spanning infrastructure, agriculture, and manufacturing. Experts warn, however, that African countries should use the summit to foster cooperation that is both sustainable and mutually beneficial. China has been intensifying its effort to strengthen ties with the global south. A general strike has disrupted industry, services, and education across parts of Israel as demands for the government to agree a ceasefire deal and bring remaining captives home from Gaza. Monday's general strike, called by the country's largest labor union, is the first since the start of war in Gaza in October, was aimed at disrupting sectors of economy, including banking and healthcare, and shutting down the country's main airports and educational institutions. The action was promoted by discovery of the 6 bodies of the 250 or so captive taken by Hamas in October 7. Mpox vaccine is expected to arrive in Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, and Burundi this week. The World Health Organization, WHO, says 230,000 doses will be dispatched to the most affected areas. The distribution has been delayed for weeks because of a logistical problem. The African Center of Disease Control says approximately 10 million doses are needed to combat the outbreak.
That was international news. Sports news up next. And in sports news, former Simba Sports Club and Taifa Stars defender Deogratius Njohole, nicknamed OCD by his fans, says the presence of many foreign players in the Tanzanian league is causing the Tanzanian national team Taifa Stars to fail to perform well in the international games. Speaking to TBC News in Dar es Salaam, Njohole adds that foreign players in various team positions are dominated by foreign players, thus weakening their contribution to the national team, Taifa Stars.
We are going to have a weak national team because a strong team should be made by the good players who regularly play in their team in Tanzania Premier League. Having a good national team will contribute to our local players to have a chance to play at international levels. For instance, what we're witnessing in our league is to see that even the top scorer is a foreign player. Top goalkeepers are foreign players. Where can we get a good national team goalkeeper? So where are we going to get a good national team if we continue like that?
Almost all the big clubs participating in the Tanzania Premier League, being led by Simba Sports Club Young Africans, Azam FC, have signed more foreign players, something that is alleged to weaken the quality of national team. The organizer of Tanzania Fashion Festival, Deogratius Kitihama, urged fashion stakeholders to invest more in the fashion industry to boost the sector to the international levels. Speaking to TBC News during the launch of this year's Tanzania Fashion Festival held in Dar es Salaam, Kitihama adds that the increase of investment to the fashion sector will help to create more employment opportunities for the youth and open up the market of industrial products, as his word is supported by the sponsors of the festival.
I think the fashion industry has been growing tremendously. There has been a lot of initiatives that people within the industry like myself has been putting into the industry, and also the government's input as well, as far as, enabling the artisans, enabling people like myself to do what we need to do.
We see a lot of designers trying to overcome what were the obstacles we had, and we see brands are going global. We have a Kantiki Anjali, she's going global right now, but we have industry, some they produce our own fabric. We never had it a few years back, like in 2090s, we never had that, but now we have it. So I'm sure we are going to a good level.
40 youth designers are expected to showcase their talents in the Tanzania Fashion Festival, which will take place on September 28th in Dar es Salaam. That is sports news. And now, before we conclude the news bulletin for tonight, let's take a look at our weather update for the next 24 hours.
Hello, this is 24 hours weather forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. Starting from tonight, 9 p.m. Wind is expected to flow at the speed of 30 kilometers per hour over Lake Victoria, Lake Tanganyika, and Lake Nyasa, and the state of the lake is expected to be moderate. For the entire coast, wind is expected to flow at the speed of 50 kilometers per hour, and the state of the sea is expected to be rough. And this comes with a warning of severe weather, of which Tanzania Meteorological Authority has issued a warning of period of strong winds exceeding 40 kilometers per hour and large ocean waves exceeding 2 meters over some areas of the entire coast. So necessary measures and precautions should be taken. And now let us see of the weather details, and this is what we expect for tonight. The entire country is expected to be dry, and we expect cooler to colder temperatures over most parts of the country, especially over southwestern highlands, of which the lowest minimum temperature is expected to reach 10 degrees of centigrade over Njombe region, followed by 13 degrees of centigrade over Mbeya region. And now let us see of what we expect for tomorrow. For Kagera and Mara region, we expect partly cloud condition, thunder showers over a few areas, and sun periods. For Arusha, Kilimanjaro, Tanga, Dar es Salaam, Pwani, including Mafia ices, together with Pemba and Unguja ices, we expect partly cloud condition, light rain showers over a few areas, and sun periods. And the remaining parts of the country, we expect partly cloud condition and sun periods. And now let us take a look of the next 4 days weather forecast. Dar es Salaam, we expect sun periods and light rain with minimum temperature of 22 degrees of centigrade. Dodoma, we expect sun periods with minimum temperature of 17 degrees of centigrade. From Mbeya region, we expect sun periods with minimum temperature of 13 degrees of centigrade. For Mwanza, we expect sun periods with minimum temperature of 17 degrees of centigrade. Kilimanjaro, we expect sun periods with minimum temperature of 18 degrees of centigrade. Morogoro, we expect sun periods with minimum temperature of 18 and 19 degrees of centigrade. For Arusha, we expect sun periods with minimum temperature of 16 degrees of centigrade. And that's all for today. Make sure to catch up again tomorrow. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, my name is...
That marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I'm Agnes Tuniga. Thank you very much for being with us. Good night.
Tangazo.